Hi guys, it's Maria D. Simone from insightfulastrology.com. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I hope you consider subscribing to this channel so that you can hear more really good astrological content and learn about astrology. And of course, if you are interested in scheduling a consultation or registering for one of my classes, go to insightfulastrology.com and see what's going on over there. All right, so this video is inspired by the fact that I actually am about to start teaching a brand new group of beginner students. And I was reflecting on some things that I notice people tend to minimize or even leave out entirely when they are doing horoscope analysis. And I haven't done a video on this yet, but this is an extremely important part of horoscope analysis to consider. So it is the ruler of your chart. And how you determine your chart ruler is by locating your ascendant. Okay, the rising sign is the sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth, and the ascendant is actually the degree, the specific degree, and that is very sensitive to the time that you were born. The degree of the ascendant can change about 1 degree approximately every 4 minutes. And this is why birth time is so important. So, when you find out what your rising sign is, it's actually not enough to just look at your chart and see, okay, I have Gemini rising or I have Capricorn rising. That's great, and that will give you some important information. But it doesn't speak to key information about your soul's most immediate purpose in this lifetime and a very key driving force in your entire life, a dominating force in your entire life. That can be found when you trace the ruler of your chart. And the ruler of the chart is the ruler of the ascendant. So the planet that rules your ascendant becomes the key to your soul's most immediate purpose in this lifetime. And for example, if you have Aries rising, then Mars will be your chart ruler. If you have Taurus rising, Venus will be your chart ruler. If you have Gemini rising, Mercury is going to be your chart ruler. Cancer rising, the moon, Leo rising, the sun, and so on and so forth. Now, there are certain signs that have a traditional rulership and a modern rulership. Signs like Aquarius, Scorpio, and Pisces. So, Pisces rising, the traditional ruler is Jupiter, the modern ruler is Neptune. For Scorpio rising, the traditional ruler is Mars and the modern ruler is Pluto. And for Aquarius rising, the traditional ruler is Saturn, the modern ruler is Uranus. The way that I approach finding the ruler of the chart for people who have one of those rising signs is I tend to give much more weight to the traditional ruler. You can play around with this yourself and see what resonates with you. I'm not going to argue with you if you are Scorpio rising, for example, and your Pluto placement happens to be so dominant for you. But I would encourage you to start with the traditional ruler and see how that is really playing out in your life. Another factor with this is house systems. Okay, you may use a different house system than I use. So in my practice, I use the Placidus house system, which is a quadrant house system. A lot of you may use the whole sign house system, another house system altogether. They're both right. And since this actually, the chart ruler is an ancient technique that is thousands of years old, it is rooted in traditional astrology, locating the ruler of your chart and reading that as far as indications for your soul's immediate purpose and a very big driving force in this lifetime, because the roots of that do come from traditional astrology. I will say that when it comes to looking at the ruler of your chart, I feel that both are correct. So if you are using the whole sign house system, then the ruler of your chart might be placed in a different house. You have to really figure this out for yourself as astrology students and astrologers. I see themes that ring true for me with both placements. So, using the Placidus house system, for example, I have Aries rising, Mars is my chart ruler, and in the Placidus system, Mars is in the third house of my chart. But if I switch to the whole sign house system, Mars then goes into the fourth house of my chart. And I can make an argument for how both of these areas of my life, topics that have to do with third house and fourth house matters, are actually vital to my soul's most immediate purpose, are actually vital to this driver, this driving life force in my world. Communications, teaching, speaking, writing, that's all third house. Home, family, real estate, that is fourth house. And really, that's basically what my entire life is about. If you break it down in a very simplistic fashion, third and fourth house matters. So, for you guys, as you're exploring this amazing nugget in chart analysis, consider the possibilities. Start with the house system that you're using, that you always use, and just remember that this is an ancient technique. It's not something that modern astrologers invented. So, this is not a technique that's 150 or 200 years old. It is thousands of years old. And that's how powerful it is to look at the ruler of your chart and to connect it to the soul's most urgent purpose in this lifetime, a very big driving force. So now what I'm going to do is give you a little rundown of all of the houses. So if the ruler of your chart is in the first house, you have a very distinct soul purpose that is connected to establishing your identity, to showing who you are in the world in a very dominant way. It is all about self development in this lifetime, quite literally. If the ruler of your chart is in the second house, then you are learning to master resources in this lifetime in a very significant way. You're learning something about using your own talents and abilities in this lifetime to create something solid and to develop a strong sense of self worth. If the ruler of your chart's in the third house, like I mentioned, then communication, thinking, speaking, writing, learning, teaching, all of that is going to be vital to your life force. Siblings might also be very prominent in your life. And if it is the fourth house, then home and family, your parents, real estate, land, this might be an important part connected to your soul's most urgent purpose. Fifth house matters for you. Maybe it's children. Maybe it is having children. Maybe it is connected to your joy and creative self expression in this lifetime. Pleasure, your soul's most immediate purpose, is connected to what gives you joy and pleasure. Sixth house could be illness, could be this journey that is connected to health matters that you experience in your lifetime. Another possibility is that your work routine and everything connected to your schedule and feeling productive and efficient is a big part of your soul's most immediate purpose. Seventh house would be committed relationships, partnership. You might be someone who has this urgent need, drive to partner up with somebody. And you learn so much about your soul's path through another person. Eighth house, we're going to be talking about managing other people's resources. You might have a soul's purpose that's connected to being a consultant, that's being connected to managing other people's assets, other people's trauma, other people's stuff, skeletons in their closet. This could be a very deep and maybe even dark journey sometimes because you actually have this soul purpose that's connected to getting to the heart of the matter and doing some deep healing work for yourself. And once you do that, to transcend your own pain and use the gifts of that pain to help heal others from their pain. Ninth house, then you might be a someone who has a soul purpose that is connected to metaphysical spiritual studies. Somebody who has a soul purpose connected to the law, ethics, beliefs, religion, the study of philosophy. Very powerful. You are here to challenge and change the beliefs of other people by exploring in depth your own beliefs. If you are someone who has the ruler of the chart in the 10th house, then your soul's most immediate purpose is connected to your calling in life, to your career, to your ambitions, your goals, your professional pursuits. It is a very significant part of your world. 11th house could be social causes, and it could be social groups, friendships, and alliances. Your soul's most immediate purpose is very much connected to other people and to affecting the masses in some way. And finally, if the ruler of your chart is in the 12th house, then you might be someone who is here very much to have some spiritual revelations and to learn about going back to the source, going back to self reflection and inner peace, and healing your pain and suffering by accessing this amazing divine connection that you have available to you. It could be a, a hermit life in some instances where you spend a lot of time alone, where you need to be alone a lot more than other people, but you find peace and comfort in this stillness, if that makes sense. So these are just, this was just a little overview, a little explanation about how important it is to really study this nugget in your birth chart. Everybody focuses so much on the sun sign, the moon sign, and the rising sign. And yes, these are critical components in chart analysis, and they do reveal a great deal of information about a person's character potential. But going one step further, before you even consider aspects, just going to that fourth step and looking at the ruler of somebody's chart, there's gold there. Trust me when I tell you, there is amazing gold there. So let me know in the comments if this video was helpful, what your chart ruler is, where it's located in your horoscope, and how that explains something about your life and your soul's most immediate purpose. I am very curious to hear. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.